In this video, I'm going to describe how to set up static routing. First step is to just set up the networks that I'm going to connect with static routing. Okay, so now we have our networks and they are connected. And I'm going to go ahead and name them and just plan out some IP addressing. So we'll call this one sales on the left and give it the network address 192.168.0.0 with the prefix length 24. And we'll give this one on the right the name marketing and the network address 192.168.0.1.0 with the network prefix 24. And then just to keep things consistent, this one in the middle, which will be the connector, we'll name 192.168.2.0 with the the prefix length 24. Okay, so next step is just to set IP addresses to all of the individual hosts that we have and the ports and interfaces. So I'm just going to do that quickly using DHCP. Call it sales, set the network address as 192.168.0.0 with 24 as the prefix length. I'll just go ahead, which is the same as 255.255.255.0, and then we'll have the default router be 192.168.0.1, the first in the network, and then DNS server will have the 192.168.0.1. The next step, I'm just going to go and continue working with DHCP by turning on that interface in the router and setting it as the IP address for the default router and the DNS server. Okay, and then if I do show history, I can just look at what I've already done and go ahead and copy this to a notepad. And we're going to do the same exact thing on the other router, except, or the other network that we have over here, yeah, for this router, except we're going to change it to adjust it to be the network 192.168.1.0. So we'll just change a lot of these zeros to ones. And add in the part that wasn't in my history, which is IP, DHCP, pool, marketing. And all of that looks good, so this should hopefully work. I'll copy that and paste it into this terminal. And now we'll check to make sure that DHCP is working on both of our networks. So I opened up the host, and I will go to IP configuration, DHCP. It might fail the first time, but this time it was successful the first time. So we have an IP address for this host. We'll just go ahead and do the same for all of the hosts. And it looks like everything's going smoothly. Okay. Now what we want to do is set up the static routing, because if you go into one of my hosts, this one has the IP address 192.168.0.1.0.2, I think. So we can just see if it's working around on the internal network and ping 192.168.0.3, which should be this PC, and we will get a reply and it works. But if we try to do the same PC in the other network, the .1.3, what will happen? We will get a reply from the default gateway saying that the host is unreachable. And that's because we don't have any routing set up. So what we're going to do, first thing that we need to do is set up the interfaces on the router to be on. So the interface gig001 is not on and not in this network, and neither is gig001 on this router. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll give it the IP address of the network that we determined, and we'll make it the first in the network. And we'll say no shut. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and do the same for our other router. And we'll make it the second. And don't forget the subnet mask. And no shut. Okay, so now everything is up. This middle network is up, but still, if we were to try to ping from this host to this network, we would not get a response. And that's because we don't have routing set up. So we're going to quickly do static routing. And this just has a really simple command, which is IP route, and then the network that we want to go to, which for marketing is 192.168.1.0, with the subnet mask, and then the next hop is what we want. So the next hop is just the next interface, the interface that we need to go to from that from this router, in order to go towards the path to where we're trying to go. And the first interface that we want to go to is going to be gig001. So that has the IP address 192.168.2.2. Okay, now we've set up the route, but only going in one direction. So we just have to get on the other router, router 2, and do the exact same thing, going back to our from our marketing network to our sales network. So we'll say 192 exit IP route 192.168. The network that we're trying to go to is 0.0 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and the next hop address of 192.168. We set it to 2.1. And now we should be all set with our static routing. So if we try to ping, (192.168.1.3), that is this PC trying to ping this PC on a separate network. It'll take a little bit, and the first few might time out, but eventually we should get a response. And there, we have a reply. So there is a connection that is working between these two PCs, and that is because we currently have a static route set up. And just really quickly, if we ping again, the replies will come faster. Okay, so I hope this video helped show you how to do static routing, and good luck practicing on your own networks.